Hey everybody, Shannon Bushman again with XXX Off-Road. We are building up our Razor S to go on the Borneo Equatorial Expedition 09. And it's quite a mouthful, isn't it? We're putting a whole bunch of winching products on the rig from Warren Industries. We showed you a little bit ago a little bit about the bumper. Now I want to talk about the winch setup. On the front bumper, we're going to use the XT30 winch. Now we are going to have two winches, and I'll talk about the rear winch in a little bit. But the XT30 is the synthetic rope setup winch. This is a completely water-sealed winch. Aces because this is monsoon season and we're going to be in a lot of mud and probably dousing this thing more than a few times, even with it mounted up high on the front bumper. When the front bumper is mounted, it'll put the winch right between the headlights. So should be up good and high where we don't have to dive to get to the winch. But we're going to talk a little bit here about some of the components. Warren gives you absolutely everything you need, every nut, bolt, screw, every piece of wire, and it actually seems very well set up for the Razor installation, and it looks like it's set up pretty much for any UTV you can imagine. Good lengths of wire, but not too long so you've got things that you can't stash somewhere. The componentry is actually pretty simple. This is your basic switching solenoid. This gives it the juice. This is a very heavy unit. I've held a few of these from some other winch manufacturers, and this thing is solid. It tells me that I think I can rely on that in the middle of the jungle. The two pieces that make the XT30 a very interesting winch are the remote control. So this is the receiver unit, hooks into the wiring harness, simple one plug connection, screw it down somewhere. Seems to be good and solid, waterproof product. I'm not concerned about it in the slightest. The cool thing is this nice little remote. So the remote comes with a cradle that will basically screw onto the dash, and when we're driving it'll be clipped in there. You can hear that it's a pretty solid clip. I don't think this is going to be at risk of bouncing out on the trail or getting lost or anything like that. It also has a little leash type hole on it. In fact, we'll probably hook a little lanyard to that and tie it down because frankly we're paranoid of being out in the middle of the boonies and losing something like that just because we're not paying attention, didn't clip it right. But we'll lash it down, make sure it doesn't fly off the dash or anything. But it's a really good solid unit. It's not too big, it's not too small. It's not so small that I'm going to misplace it somewhere, but it's also good size fit in your hand. The buttons feel good and solid. The plastic is real solid stuff. It's got good kind of rubbery feel, so it doesn't feel like it's going to fly out of your hand, and if it hits the table or drops on the ground, I don't think you're going to be concerned about breaking this thing or it wearing out. We might actually take a spare set of batteries. I don't know, haven't read the manual, sorry, exactly how long it lasts. I'm sure it's going to last more than the 3 weeks that we'll be in the jungle, but we'll probably take a spare set of batteries just because we're paranoid. Alrighty, well there we go with the XT30. Thanks.